I'm sitting outside of Joann's and I'm trying to like hype myself up because I live in California. California is, in my observations, one of like the last places that gets any kind of Halloween decor. So I really tried to psych myself up this morning when I got ready to go Halloween decor hunting. I'm gonna give Joann's a shot first because I know that's where I've seen a lot of folks find a lot of code oranges. Hopefully there's something to be found here to kick off Summerween. Okay, it was sparse, but it was there. I don't know if they haven't like put everything on the shelves or if things have already been picked through, but it was a limited selection than what I've seen online, but you know what? I'll take it. It is a great first decor hunting experience, so I'm super happy about that. So this week I wanted to hit up a few other stores like At Home, Home Goods, Marshalls. All this week I'm just gonna stop in there when I am going out running some errands. So fingers crossed things remain just as successful as today was for me. Now that I'm back at my home, I wanted to share with you the things that I purchased at Joann's. I could not pass up these adorable disposable napkins. I love the saying on it. I think they're super rare, nothing like I've really seen before, and I try to be conscientious to just get things that are like hell yeses for me and not getting items because they are Halloween-y. I want to like really love them if I'm going to be purchasing them. I love a haunted house graphic, and I'm the kind of person in my friend group that hosts a Halloween party, and I always think back when I'm at the party thinking like, oh, I wish I had more decorative serving trays, so I think these will come in handy down the road. I have already started my first book, which is Night of the Living Queers, and this book is actually an arc. This is actually a young adult short story collection. There are 13 stories, and I really love when short story collections have a common theme or topic or some element that like ties them all together. And in the case of this one, they are all with like, you know, young adult subjects, obviously, it's YA. But also in addition to that, you have each story setting taking place on Halloween, and also, they all are taking place under a blue moon. So it kind of lends itself to a lot of like supernatural, witchy things. So far, I am on story 6 out of 13. I love the premise for this. It explores a night when anything is possible, exclusively featuring queer authors of color, putting fresh spins on classic horror tropes and tales. A lot of the settings are just right up my alley. One is set at a drive-in, so very Summerween. Another one is like a haunted house. Another one deals with vampires. One includes like a Ouija board. It is, yeah, it's just like right up my alley. I am loving it. It gives me like that cozy, spooky, horror mystery kind of vibe to it that I think reminds me of the vampire short story collection that was also YA. It's like vampires with a fresh bite. So there's like this subgenre of horror that's like cozy but YA, a little kind of campy. That's just like right up my alley, I'm discovering. And I have been really liking it so far. Day 2 of Summerween for me has really just been a whole lot of reading, which is awesome and exactly how I like it. I was able to finish that YA short story collection that I started. This book is a really, really important book when it comes to representation of diverse groups of people, both with sexuality, race, cultures. Like you saw some really unique stuff in there using folklore and religious iconography from Hinduism, from, you know, Chinese culture. That's like really cool, really special, really unique, and not really talked about within a lot of like horror stories. There are a lot of universal themes that no matter your racial background, sexuality, age, you will be able to connect with this book. Because like, just think back, if you are older like myself, to growing up, being in middle school, high school, there's so much self-acceptance and issues with self-worth that many of us face and struggle with, and that really comes up in the majority of these stories. And honestly, I wish I read this book when I was growing up because it just helped you feel seen and empowered, because I think we all can, in many cases, maybe not for everybody, but I think we all feel like there are parts of us that are unacceptable, that are monstrous, and I could connect with that for aspects of like my gender identity. Because the goal of this book is to make really visual and make it very graphic the internal processes that young people of LGBTQ backgrounds, they really struggle with, and to make that very real. And so that's why I feel like this book is important, not just for LGBTQ people, LGBTQ youth, but also people who are not identifying with that specific demographic to read this book and to empathize, to understand. There's some really beautiful themes, really beautiful messages that come up in this book. Literature and movies, just arts in general, should be both mirrors and windows. You know, mirrors that reflect yourself and then windows that expose you to other people's experiences. But also, I feel like there's a lot of discussion and moments that really center around romance in these short stories. So if you're like a romance reader, this will totally be your jam. And I really liked how unsettling some of these endings were. Like, you think it's a YA story that it's gonna end with like happy endings all the time. It really doesn't, and that is fun. Moving on to the thriller reading prompt, I started The Only One Left by Riley Sager, which is actually my first book of his. I'm not a big thriller person. I'm really intrigued by the gothic atmosphere. People have some really strong feelings about his work, so I'm curious for myself to figure out where I fall, and I've only gotten to about 20% of it. So I started that audiobook while enjoying a Summerween treat. I gave Mandy Spooks his little like watermelon Summerween recipe a shot, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was super refreshing. I'll leave the recipe video for that down below that she shared with us very recently. So if that intrigues you at all, give it a shot. I thought it was delicious. I did want to try another creator's like DIY recipe of sorts. So I'm excited to get a little crafty and see what comes of this, because I'm typically not the most successful at these kind of things. While I had my little ghosty in the oven baking, I thought I'd just check in. I'm doing one of the DIY crafts that Taylor from the Halloween Homesteader released in a video very recently. But first, check out my adorable little Stay Puffed situation I have going on right here. Look at these little earrings, they're so cute. And then also I have my shirt here I got from Walmart. I feel like Ghostbusters is so underrated as like a Halloween movie. I'm absolutely obsessed with Stay Puffed. I even have a little Stay Puffed pop socket right here. But things are going really well with this craft. I am bummed because I don't feel like I have the right jar. I just couldn't find the one that Taylor used in her video that's a little bit longer, and it doesn't have like a screw top. It has something you just kind of like suction up. So I may have to like pivot. I'll experiment, I'll try new things, but I might have to kind of go my own way with this. But it is coming out really well. And this is my first time working with polymer clay. I've seen it done many times before in videos, so I'm like, you know what? This video that she released seemed to be pretty straightforward, looked like a lot of fun. A reading update is that I did finish The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I am definitely on the outlier island. I did not care for this book. I love the gothic vibes. The allusions and references to the Lizzie Borden trial in that case were fun. I really enjoyed that. But overall, it was too twisty and just, yeah, not my jam. I didn't really care about the characters. I didn't really feel like there was a lot at stake. It just kept going and going. And yeah, it just wasn't my vibe. But I totally know that that's a me thing because the majority of people are giving this 5 stars. They're raving about it. But if you're on Outlier Island with me, swim to shore, we'll hang out. So obviously I read that one for the thriller prompt, and I also finished The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, which was a reread for me. I read The Final Girl Support Group for the reading prompt for reading a book with a black or orange color on the cover. I had rated this 5 stars when I read it last summer, and I wanted to reread it again because it just, I kept the book, I have a physical copy, and it just, it got me thinking about so much nostalgia for last summer when I just moved into this apartment, I just started this YouTube channel, I was really just beginning in my horror Halloween era after wrapping up my grad program, which subsumed so much of my life for 3.5 years. on top of having a full-time teaching career just beginning out. So I was just ready for me and like considering what do I like and what do I want to read on my own terms without somebody telling me what to do or what to view. So that book was really, I think, one of the first horror books I read when I was getting back in the swing of fictional reading. So it has a lot of like really good memories associated with it, with this like apartment being like really empty and just like kind of building a new life and starting a new chapter. And I just loved that I was rereading it for the second time and seeing how my knowledge of the horror, specifically the slasher genre, has evolved over time. I definitely have grown in my knowledge and I could like pick up on some of the references that were being made to specific movies. I still loved it. I think I loved it even more. This was my first reread of a book. I've never reread a book before, which is funny because I rewatch movies all the time. I totally like inhaled this book when I first read it. So now I was able to really pick up on the nuances, the little clues that were left that ultimately lead us to who actually is the villain of the story. You would think a reread is boring because you already know the ending, but there's enjoyment in like seeing those breadcrumbs as the author kind of drops them throughout the course of the plot. Okay, now I'm gonna go check on my little ghosty because the oven is going off and I'm gonna put him together, do a little bit of like impromptu, you know, switching up of this DIY's original kind of setup and make it work for the tools I have. Oh, he looks so cute. Add a little bit more sand. Oh, he's adorable. So obviously you can see I did something a little bit different than what Taylor did in her DIY. And as Taylor beautifully put it in her video, it's all about like learning lessons about what works, what doesn't. And ultimately, I'm just really proud of myself for actually trying for the very first time to work with polymer clay. And I'm actually obsessed with him. He's so freaking adorable. We found Halloween at home. I'm so happy. I had so much joy on my face. I just was feeling really lethargic at home and I was like, you know what? I need to go out. I need to do something. Maybe at home in my town finally has Halloween stuff out. And I think they were like just getting it out today or maybe even yesterday because I could see like the unopened boxes. I could see all the little like slips of paper on the shelving kind of communicating to the staff where everything should go, all the merchandise on the shelves and like in which order. I picked up things. I got 2 items. I think they're so adorable and they really go with my haunted mansion vibe I'm really trying to embody in my home. It's getting dark over here, so I won't be filming for too long, but I did want to let you know that I did go into Marshall's on a whim and I just wanted to check things out to see if there's anything on the shelves. I tried a new Marshall's out for the first time and it's also combined with a TJ Maxx, so it's like a superstore, and they did have some things. They had some items in there. They had some really cute decor. There was a limited option and but it was there, so I was really excited to see what that looked like. And it was just really exciting because I have not gone to any Home Goods, Marshalls, TJ Maxx's that have had anything Halloweeny. So I'm happy to report that there are code oranges at my Marshalls. And there was mostly just a few areas where you had some like house decor. And then there was this like really strange pumpkin that looked so odd and was positioned so weirdly. I was so confused. I was unsettled. I was disturbed. It was very strange. And it was a lot of money. It was like $100. I thought today would be a great day to have a pool day, now that things are warming up in my area, getting into like the 80s. I got myself ready and headed down to the pool. I wanted to get some reading done, and I was able to finish The Salt Grows Heavy, which is written by Cassandra Khaw. I read this book for the Summerween novella prompt, and I generally did like this book, but like many people have said themselves, certain parts of the writing was confusing for me to understand. Other parts of this book were so beautifully written though, so it was kind of 50-50 for me. I spent my early evening having a coffee date with a friend of mine, catching up. She was so sweet. She gifted me a book that I actually had my eyes on, so she just like knows me so well. It was so wonderful to chat with her because professionally we're going through very similar situations. Hi, hello. I'm sitting down here in this really weird position because I wanted to spend a moment today organizing my activity and like hobby drawer. My partner and I have been working on reorganizing things, clearing out space, letting go of things we don't really use or need right now. And we're kind of like in the middle of all of that, which feels really chaotic for me. But you know, to get to where you need to go, you kind of just gotta plow through. I've had like a pretty relaxed day so far. I've just been really bumming it. I went for a walk. I made sure I was online for an earring drop I've been really looking forward to. The company is called Undoubtedly Mad. They have a really active Instagram, which is where I found them, and I picked up these adorable Emily earrings. Let me know if you're also a huge Corpse Bride fan too. I think that has to be one of my favorite all-time Tim Burton films. Maybe The Nightmare Before Christmas is probably a rival. I was thinking about how to end this week-long vlog because I wanted to make sure I had time today, the 7th day, to edit everything and post it online for tomorrow. And a lingering thought or quote from this week comes from Grady Hendrix's Final Girl support group. It's just kind of on my mind right now. And it's like a specific line in the book. I have it here. He writes, "Dying isn't the important thing. It's nothing more than the punctuation mark on the end of your life. It's everything that came before that matters. Punctuation marks, most people skip right over them. They don't even have a sound." And that line really sticks out to me because I struggle oftentimes to enjoy things, the little things in life, the things that mean a lot to me, that bring me a lot of comfort and joy, like Halloween and reading and movies. This is really what this space is all about, for me to unabashedly fangirl over the things that bring me joy and to connect with folks who also feel that way. And it's hard when I feel a lot of guilt for doing that, for centering my own joy, because my professional life is spent so much in service of other people that then when I come into my personal life, it feels wrong to do things for me. So that's something I'm really just still trying to wrap my head around, how to live a life on my own terms and understand that there's like things to be concerned about, but also we should be concerned about cultivating our own joy. The whole purpose of this vlog was to capture the spirit of Halloween in July that was authentic to me. So thank you for being a part of my week, my life, as I try to cultivate and center joy in the ways that it looks for me. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you rock. Leave that pumpkin emoji down below in the comments. Let me know something you've been enjoying as we begin spooky season. Let's chat about all things Halloween in the comments. And if you're looking for more Summerween vibes being spooky in these summer months, I recently did a haul video that is summer themed, but horror and Halloween, obviously. I'll leave that for you right here to click on. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!